Teachers use texts which are rich in possibilities for reading, writing and speaking and listening, so it's helpful to focus pupils clearly on the relevant objectives from the outset.
Now we're going to learn how to construct an extended piece of writing because we're trying to answer the question, why was the Roman army so successful? Now, in order to do this, we're going to use another piece of writing on a different topic to try to give you a clear idea of what you are aiming for.
Some pupils are familiar with writing explanation essays, but others aren't. They need to see and hear examples so they have a model for their own writing. It's easier to write when you hold in your head an impression of the final product. This history essay is a piece of explanatory writing which incorporates elements of analysis.
What we're going to look at then is this piece of writing that you've got in front of you. Why did William win the Battle of Hastings? Remember, this was produced by somebody the same age as you, and this is the sort of writing that we're aiming to produce by the end of our lesson. Now, I'm going to read the first 2 paragraphs to you, and then I'm going to be looking for volunteers to read through the last 3. Now, be thinking, please, in your minds about what it is that makes this piece of writing good. OK, why is this piece of writing a good example of what we're trying to achieve? The Battle of Hastings took place in 1066 when Edward the Confessor died, leaving no heir.
If the wind hadn't changed, or if Harold Harada hadn't invaded, I think Harold could have won, and England would be a different place.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Exploring the features of the text begins to focus pupils on the details of the composition. They're able to bring knowledge they already have of this type of writing, and the teacher can draw out the conventions of writing this type of text.
Every paragraph starts off with our general sentence, our big point explaining why and what this paragraph is about. So first of all, we've got the fact that William was a very determined and ambitious leader. Straight away, you want to carry on to read the rest of that paragraph. You want to know why William was determined, why he was ambitious. What evidence is there to prove that he was determined and ambitious? OK, so we start every paragraph with our topic sentence, our big point. Put your hands up, please, if you can tell me what tense we're writing in throughout this piece of writing. Yes?
Past tense.
Excellent. Why are we writing in the past tense? Why is that so important that we're writing in the past tense? Yes?
Because it's already happened.
Excellent. OK, thank you. So normally when you're writing in history, you will always be writing in the past tense. So for example, we've got he claimed. Straight away we can see our past tense. Promised, another example of a past tense. Can anyone else find for me an example of where we're writing in the past tense? Ahmed.
William was.
Excellent. Now, I'm going to give you 2 minutes with the person sitting next to you to go through and underline all the examples that you can find of why this is a good piece of writing. And I want you to write just a note at the side about what that point is. So if it's a past tense or a topic sentence. 2 minutes, please. Off you go.
The teacher makes the learning explicit to pupils, putting the finger on what's distinctive and drawing attention to relevant conventions.
So let's start from the beginning then. What's the very first thing that struck you about this piece of writing? Shane?
There's a really good introduction because it says, like, it goes straight into the facts, what happens in the Battle of Hastings. And
Good. So we've got a clear introduction, haven't we? It sets the scene. Excellent. Where do we go from there then? Claire?
The whole piece of writing looks like the person has done a lot of research because it's got different bits about the war and it's got quotations. That means they've probably looked for it.
So, this person selected their information quite carefully, haven't they?
Yeah.
OK, which is something we've already done on our planning sheets, isn't it? Good. What happens next, as it were? What happens after that initial good start? Daniel?
He backs up all the things like he says, like he had a strong army because of he puts like the archers were in front and the people on horseback were behind.
So he backs up his opening sentence, doesn't he, by using evidence. So now, just going on a little bit to look at the very end of the essay, what is it about the ending that makes it such a good piece of writing? Elise?
The conclusion.
Good.
It sums up all the information that you've got in the paragraphs above.
Good, so it sums up our information.
And gives the person's opinion.
And what do they use their opinion to do? Yes, Sanana?
He uses his opinion to answer the question.
Excellent. OK, so sums up the information and answers the question. Now, this structure that we've got here then is a good structure for any piece of writing like this, any piece of writing where you're trying to explain the reasons why something happened. This piece of writing is trying to explain why William won the Battle of Hastings. It's not just describing what happened, it's starting to analyse the reasons why that happened. OK? Now we're going to look at why the Roman army was successful. That key word, why was the Roman army successful?
Fiona now moves on to demonstrate how the text is composed. As she writes, she thinks aloud about the choices she makes. This gives pupils an insight into the process of writing a history essay.
Right, what we're going to do now then is that I'm going to demonstrate the actual writing process. So how a writer would think when they're putting together their first paragraph. We already know that we're going to talk about our excellent training programme because I've clearly signposted that in my introduction. So I've got to start off by choosing my big point. And I'm going to say something along the lines of the fact that the Romans thought their training programme was very important. So, the Romans thought that their training programme now I'm actually going to say was extremely important rather than very. Very can be a bit of a weak word. Extremely puts emphasis on exactly how important they thought it was. I need another piece of evidence. And I think I'm going to use a quotation here, a quotation from a Roman soldier about the Romans and their training. Now, this quotation is one that we've got on our planning sheets. Now, before I write my quotation, I need to put a colon, like so. And I'm going to choose the quotation. It is as though they are born with weapons in their hands. I need one final sentence now, just to draw that together, to show how that quotation I've used links back to the rest of the paragraph. So I'm going to choose a link word. I'm going to choose consequently, okay, as a direct result. So consequently, the Roman army could never be taken by surprise. So, I've got my topic sentence to start my paragraph off. I've got my supporting evidence. I've used my quotation. I've written in the past tense because it's something that's already happened. And I've finished it off by using a good link word to link back to the theme of the paragraph to show the importance of the Roman army's training programme.
Now the class composes together, discussing suggestions and receiving feedback.
What's our next paragraph going to be about? Catherine?
Battle plans and tactics.
Excellent, thank you. So, I'm going to give you 1 minute with a partner to produce a topic sentence on battle plans and tactics. Off you go. Sorry. Now, I want to hear some examples, please, of some excellent topic sentences. Gary.
The Romans' battle plans and tactics were a very strong factor in the army's success.
Very, very good. Strong factor. You're bringing in another word there. That's excellent. So that's the topic sentence I'm going to choose. Now, can you be thinking about your next piece of evidence that you can use to finish off that paragraph, but still to back up exactly what we've been saying here? Claire.
A tactic that was normally used was a testudo. It was simple but effective.
Very good. Now, what you gave to me there was almost 2 sentences, wasn't it? We need to knit that together to make it just into the 1 sentence. An example of these simple but effective tactics was the testudo. How do I finish that sentence? How am I going to finish that off, Danielle?
In which the Romans locked their shields together.
Good.
Fiona is helping the pupils to structure their first attempts at writing. She provides them with a scaffold. In this case, it's a list of prompts on the OHT and some sentence starters. But other options include word banks and writing frames. Fiona reviews the first paragraph before asking pupils to write independently. Encouragement and support from the teacher are important at this stage.
Right, have you got 1 clear topic sentence there?
No.
What have you done?
Too much.
You've linked it, haven't you, with your evidence, so you need to separate that first sentence into 2 sentences so that you've got 1 clear topic sentence and then that you go on to use your evidence. You've got all the right information, but some of it's just too close together, yeah? Right, can we link those 2 sentences together? Can you look at your sentence? Is there any way that we can make the link between that last sentence back to earlier in the paragraph? What word could you use?
Therefore.
Excellent. So therefore, they always had the right weapons to fight the battle. Okay, so you're linking that back to the rest of the paragraph. Okay, brilliant.
Fiona now uses the plenary session to review the writing and to draw out key points.
Now, Liam, yours was a particularly good example of a topic sentence, one that you've written that you think really showed clearly what you were talking about.
The organisation of the Roman army was a crucial part of the success of the Roman Empire.
Okay, crucial. It's that word crucial, showing just how important it was to the Roman army's success. Right, what I want to do now then is for you to read out your whole paragraphs to me. Now, as you do that, I want you to explain to the rest of the class which part of that is your topic sentence and then to point out your supporting evidence. So either of the paragraphs that you've written on your own. Gary.
Opening sentences. The Romans' armour and weapons were of very high quality. They were also very thoughtfully designed. And my evidence is they were made of very reliable and strong materials such as steel or leather. Every soldier within this formidable army had 4 pieces of equipment, including spares. This way, they could never be caught by surprise.
Excellent. Can we have just one more, please, example of a really good, clear paragraph? Ahmed.
Some more topic sentence. The Roman army's armour and weapons were of high quality and were thoughtfully designed. This is my supporting sentences. Additionally, the equipment they handled were made out of strong materials so they could withstand the hardest things. They made them out of steel and leather. This led to all soldiers carrying not one, but 4 pieces of equipment. Subsequently, they were never caught off guard.
Now, you've used at least 2 of those sentence starters I spotted in there. That's excellent.